I think I hear Carlos out there. Well, good morning, everybody. I don't seem to hear Carlos' voice, but I hear moving about. Yeah, okay, so there's no sound yet. All right. I hear you very distantly, Carlos. Maybe it's just me here. Hold on. There you go. Nope, you're good now. I am doing good. Thank you for asking, Carlos. And yourself? Good. And I'm very happy to be the sit-in for Norm while he gets things all set. He's been looking forward to getting his house built for a very long time, so I know that he's very much looking forward to it. And as he was saying last week, very much looking forward to getting back to the pre-market show. He misses it, and he misses all of you guys. So he'll be back as soon as he can. For the markets overall, so welcome to a Monday morning, a new week. We're seeing some mixed information coming from the global markets, but all in all, things are generally positive. Jobs report, it's amazing how this market just likes to go up on any good news. So jobs are at a very high 13% unemployment rate in the U.S. However, it's better than the 19% that was expected, and therefore the market see it as a positive. Friday, as you know, probably know anyway. So we just had a green day, right? It was green across the board in all sectors, and some stocks like a couple of the oil manufacturers like Oxy most notably, and all of the travel companies like the airlines were just skyrocketing. So but you know what, who knows what's going on? Like, we're in unprecedented times, and you need to look no further than Minneapolis, where the Minneapolis, this just stuns me. So the Minneapolis City Council has voted to abolish the police department. Not reform it, abolish it. They've declared that just after decades of police reforms, they believe it's apparent that Minneapolis Police Department cannot be reformed, and they are going to end the police department. They said they don't know what they're going to replace it with, but they're going to get rid of it. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on out there, but the markets overall still continue to motor on because of the money the Fed is pumping in. So for us as traders, what we will focus on are the stocks that are going up and all the positivity that the Fed money is bringing. So let's see what we can do with it, and we'll get to that with this big gappers list. So let's go.
All right, thank you, man. Yeah, appreciate it. That's interesting news. Did not know that. Cannot wait to see how that's going to play out. All right, guys, let's take a look at what's gapping down this morning. Only 2 so far on my list. Let's make sure we are live on when it comes to actual time frames. Yep, just 2 on here. Let's start with PENN this morning. Penn and Peter, cut me in if you have any significant news on any of these. But this one right now, just down over a little bit under 2% for the most part. Has been pretty nice in the daily. Beautiful breakouts here. Again, has a nice uptrend over the last couple of weeks. As you can see here, had a big red day yesterday, kind of giving some back. I'm not seeing anything all that great pre-market wise, but their daily has been pretty good. Let's see how it has been trading over the past couple of days. Friday, you can see a beautiful trend here on Friday, so this looks very nice. Definitely worth keeping on our list if it trades like that during the intraday. So I'm going to add PENN on our list for right now. Another one going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Carlos, I've got nothing specific on Penn, which is odd because it's odd that it's down. So Vegas casinos sort of opened over the weekend. I was watching videos of the casinos with people everywhere, not a mask in sight. So they were opening up, and people seem to be very happy to get back to the casinos. They did get a downgrade. PENN did get a downgrade from Deutsche Bank. But to me, that's not that significant. But overall, the attitude has been generally positive. If you look at MGM, Las Vegas Sands, some of those others have generally been going up. So there might be some news coming out today on Penn. As you say, put it on the list and we'll see what happens.
Yep, that makes sense. So I am going to crank up my volume here. People are saying they cannot hear me all that well. How about there? And then I'm going to, for YouTube guys, I will put down Peter's volume a little bit because I think he's coming in a little louder saying. So we should be good to go. All right, AZN here, guys. Let's take a look at this one. This one we've seen in the past quite a bit. It doesn't trade all that well. I don't like the way it moves personally. It can be very, very choppy. Right now, we do have some volume. The 238,000 shares traded. They are down 2.3. But this is a stock that I personally do not like. I can throw it on here. If anyone else likes it, we can look at some levels. But for the most part, it will not make my my list on here. Let's take a look at. All right, that's all we have gapping down. Yep.
And there is news on AZN as well. So the reports are that AZN had reached out to Gilead, G-I-L-D, to propose a potential merger. Now, there's no details that I've found on it. So those two may be tied together and may move today. And Gilead, we know, we've looked at that in the past. So if you're going to watch it, you may want to watch those two in concert and see if there's news coming out today on either one.
Yeah, Gilead is actually one that we have traded quite a bit, so I'm gonna add this one on here. It's much better. So I'm gonna remove AZN for now, just to have space. We'll keep Gilead on here. All right, next one on our list, MIK this morning. These guys are up nicely, 30%, 198,000 shares traded for the most part, so they're doing pretty well this morning. As far as daily. They're daily a little bit on the lighter side with the volume. They do have some nice intraday action we saw on Friday, so that looks okay, not great. We'll see. We'll keep it on here, guys. Not really all that great right now. Next we have AZUL, and we're not going to get through all of these guys, by the way. We're going to do the top 5 first, the ones that are pretty significantly gapping up this morning. Then we'll look at our usual airlines. We have banks are on here today. We have all kinds of stocks doing well. Obviously, a lot of green here, and we'll look at the cruise lines. And then we'll go over to chats to see what you guys like this morning. AZUL for the most part right now, 238,000. Not sure if they're what kind of stock they're. They look foreign, and I say that because of the volume on the regular daily candles that you can see here. The way you got some choppiness in the way they're forming. So not a fan of it. Going to skip on this one. Let's look at GOL. GOL right now, pre-market. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say AZUL is a Brazilian airline. So that's why I think just because they're an airline is why they're going up, the same reason the U.S. airlines were going up.
Okay. Let's see here. Yep, I see that. All right, so Give me a second, guys. Let me make sure we're good.
GOL,
Okay.
I think I interrupted you from.
Oh, yep. Sorry about that. Was just checking something here. GOL. Yeah. So this.
GOL, it's another Brazilian airline, by the way. So obviously, there's some positivity going on with the Brazilian airlines. As I said, all airlines are going up as the air traffic ramps up. Brazil is like the U.S. in that it has a lot of air traffic within the country, and domestic air travel is going to be the first thing to recover, right? Because international borders still aren't opening up, but travel within countries, especially the larger countries like Brazil and the U.S., we're going to see increases first.
Yep, yep. All right, guys. So, yep, I definitely makes perfect sense. Who knows? Today there might be the day where these kind of foreign stocks can be active, but for the most part, we haven't seen anything all that great out of these. Let's look at AMC, Mac this morning. This was pre-market actions looking horrible, guys. I'm going to skip on this one. They're up 19%, pretty nice right here. But for the most part, their pre-market activity is not looking all that great. Let's look at NBL. NBL right now, also another one that doesn't have great pre-market action, up quite a bit, 15%. This is an energy company, but also pre-market's just not great at all. Not what we like to look for. CUK, obviously we know is a partner of CCL. Usually CCL is the one that trades a lot better. So I'm going to look at CCL this morning. For the most part, they're up 17%, almost 18, 3.7 million shares traded. This is a lot of volume compared to what we're used to seeing out of CCL, even when they're active. But they're up 18%. This volume kind of going sideways over the last couple of minutes or so, at least hour. But again, they could be very explosive. I'm going to keep an eye on them for sure. And with that said, let's jump over into the rest of the cruise lines. We have NC. LH this morning. This one here is also gapping up 14%, 3.2, crazy volume. Want to keep an eye on this one as well. We'll keep one or maybe both. We'll see how that goes. And then the last one of the cruise lines that seems to be a little more active is RCL. And this one this morning, again, great volume, 700,000. But usually CCL and NCLH are the ones that I usually like to keep. All right, let's take a look at the airlines. See what's going on there. So we'll look at American Airline this morning, very active, up 7.5, 6.8 million shares traded right now. I think we're going to get a lot of action, as you mentioned before, with the airlines. I think this is one to look at. So I'm going to have this one on here. I'm going to take a look at United next. I don't see it on this list here right now, but I know United has been very active over the last couple of days as well. A good one to watch. So I'm going to have this on my list. I know we don't see it here on the gapping up list right now. There's so many. We also have Oxy and some of these oil companies up on this gappers list today. So we'll look at Oxy next. I saw their pre-market action earlier, and that looked very, very interesting. So they got 4.6. They're up 12%. And look what they did on Friday as well, breaking out of this area of resistance. So I think Oxy is worth having on our list this morning. As going back to airlines, let's look at Save, and then we'll look at Delta, and we'll call it for the airline. Save is a very active, 1.7 as well, giving a little bit back this morning. There was high as 27, now down $2. And then the other will be Delta. Let's see how Delta looks this morning as well. This is one that tends to be very active. So Delta for the most part, Delta, it's okay. It's regular like American and United. So we'll throw it on here. We'll keep 2 out of those 3. All right, Peter, anything else you like? Obviously, this list is huge. We can't get through all of it. Anything you like specifically from today, or anything that has a catalyst that is worth or keeping an eye on this morning?
I don't have anything new from what you compared. I mean, there's the usual candidates that I usually like just take a look at on days like this where I don't have a lot of independent news candidates such as Microsoft and AMD, MU. So I'll keep an eye on those. Tesla has always been moving the last couple of weeks, so there's those. On Oxy that you mentioned, there's a lot of news on Oxy, so I'm going to keep an eye on it because it had its single largest day percentage-wise increase on Friday. So with I think it was a 33% increase. So I think it's absolutely going to be worth watching today because there's a ton of news on it between the new agreement for extending the production cuts amongst the major oil producers, as well as there's storms going on, and they had to close down a bunch of their oil platforms. I think is in the somewhere off the coast of Mexico. So I think Oxy was going to move. So it's definitely going to be on my list.
All right, yeah, I see Oxy as one of the ones that is very active this morning. It's dropping down now. Definitely worth watching. 4 million shares traded right now. So, and just look at the day Friday. I mean, just Friday was insane. So, all right, guys, let's start with our chat. What do you guys like this morning? Sam is giving us Tesla. Let's take a look at what's happening there. So Tesla, wow, look at Tesla, guys. Just the daily, how he's been consolidating right in this area here, kind of hitting these levels of 900 or so. Could be a very interesting pop here. The volume is a little bit lighter right now, only 177,000, but for the most part, this daily looks amazing. Worth keeping an eye on when it comes to Tesla. I'm going to add it on here. It's getting too expensive now, though. I mean, it's sitting at $900, right? So it's only so much buying power you can try to spend on one trade. So it's getting to that point where it's very, very expensive. But overall, if you like trading these expensive stocks, this one is one that trades very well. And you can see here how nicely that's looking right now. Let's head down over to who else we have on here. Let's look at BA. So a lot of you guys giving us BA. Let's take a look at that one. BA is probably very active with the airlines as well. Now, some of the airlines have given some back. BA is starting to come back up over here. They're up 8.2 million shares traded. Also doing very nice over the last couple of days, trading amazing. I think BA is definitely one to keep on here. Still sitting at a very nice, good price. I mean, this thing went down as low as $90, if you can believe it or not. Already sitting at 222. So BA is good. I see some other ones, some other people throwing out WFC. So WFC this morning, banks have been very active over the last couple of days. You can see here WFC trading nice, up 5.4, 850. Big red day yesterday, trying to recover today. I think WFC is worth giving a look at. Heading on down here, we have just gonna go down a sec here. All right, so ENOV, they have a HIV cure. That would be very interesting. ENOV, wow, look at the pop here. So these guys are up 233% since this morning. 1.7 million shares. Obviously, they got a cure for that. It's going to be some incredible news, but we have to see how it all plays out when it comes to actual release of stuff really actually works or not. So here we have it, guys. This is up quite a bit. We can definitely keep it active. What is the float on this, Peter? Do you have the handy? ENOB? For the most part,
I've got a $14 million share float on it, so not huge.
Yeah, not huge. I'm gonna bring it just slightly down a little bit here, guys. It's more of a low flow stock, and the way it's moving anyway, even if it was above 25, even sitting at 30, if you look at these candles going from $6 to $9, and then from $9 all the way up to 19 on the next run, I mean, that's quite a big of a move. So you want to be careful with the number of shares you take in on anything that's moving in that type of fashion. So BA, yep, we have BA. I like BA, guys. I think this one is very active. The last couple of days has been great, and the intraday play has also been pretty good. We've been watching this one quite a bit. SSL also has a great pre-market action here. It looks pretty nice, up 14%, 326. Now, for the most part, their pre-market actually looks amazing, but their daily is not all that great. It just seems a little bit choppy for the most part right on here. It looks like it might be a foreign stock, right? Yeah, it might be a foreign stock. So not sure about this one, guys. Again, not sure how it's going to actually trade the actual intraday. On Friday, if we go back and look at it, Friday traded very well, actually. So could be a possible. I'm going to throw it down here. I think it looks foreign, so it might not be one that sits on my main list.
It's a South African oil and gas company, and it's because, like I said, the oil and gas companies are moving with the deal on the production cuts, and so you're going to see a lot of them moving, but most of them are not U.S. based.
Right. So I know Oxy is one that trades the cleanest one in that field. So if you want to trade some of those oil companies, this is one that trades very well, and we have traded before in the past. You just want to be careful because I have seen some irregular jumps, either long or short, doesn't matter. But usually you have a stock that just drop on you out of nowhere. This one can actually pop on you out of nowhere, and we've seen that before because we've been watching this one very closely after the huge drop and the gap downs that it has had, and the possible breakouts that we have taken advantage of on this one. So just be careful, but that's a good one to watch if you want to look at that sector. Let's look at a few more, guys. UA and then Play. So for the most part here, this is Under Armour, I believe. They are up 7.6, 102. Not great volume, not not great pre-market activity, but I know there's a lot of news behind Under Armour for the most part. So at least last week, today they're gapping up slightly, trying to get above this area of resistance we have had here for the last couple of months. Could be a sleeper, but for right now, just this pre-market action, even with 102, is not giving us anything great to look at the moment. Let's look at HTC. So HTZ for the most part, this one. Now, is HTC, are they going bankrupt, or what's the issue with these guys? I know some news on it last week. What's happening?
Yeah, they have. So yes, they've declared bankruptcy, but there's a big process to go through to determine what that looks like and how their assets get managed. I mean, really, all declaring bankruptcy in the initial stage is just about creditor protection, meaning creditors can't go and raid their assets. So they may actually come out of this without having to go bankrupt if the economy opens up soon enough and they find potential funder support from a bank. So we'll see what happens. So they're sort of, they're sitting in a little bit of a limbo right now, which is why you're seeing the stock jump around a little bit, because some people are guessing, don't worry, they'll come out of it fine and it'll be a good investment. Others, of course, are dumping their stock. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, this thing hit as low as 50 cents or so 2 weeks ago, trying to come back now. So again, I'm not sure how the pre-market, how the actual intraday trading is going to be on this. If we look at Friday, again, just looks very choppy to me. You had a pop and a drop here, and then after that, just look at the chop, just back and forth, back and forth. Finally, here you got a drop out of it. So I'm not a whole huge fan of it. I think you're going to get a lot of volume on this, but probably no direction as people try to figure out what's the best thing to do here. So I'll be cautious on that one. I don't think it's even going to be on my secondary list, to be honest. All right, guys, let's head on over to YouTube and see what our friends have this morning. So a lot of the stuff that our main chat has provided. BA we have, CHK. Let's take a look at that. So this is gapping up here 70%. Wow. So big day on Friday, if you can see that on there. Today they're up another 70%, getting above, slightly getting into this area of resistance we have seen in May and quite a bit in April and March. So we're right on that level. We have gone as high as 50 on this, 49.50 at least. Yeah, I think it's very active. It's just how is it going to trade? Let's look at Friday real quick, kind of get an idea of what it did. So for the most part, at the open, just didn't do nothing for the entire day until later in the afternoon started to get going here. Peter, I'm sure you have probably not looked at this one yet, but any significant news on this amazing pop?
Well, this is Chesapeake Energy, so another oil and gas company. Again, same as all the rest. It and Oxy are the two, sort of few ones that you can trade that are native to the U.S. And when we say foreign stock, by the way, guys, not that there's anything against a company that's a foreign company, but it usually means that it's dual listed. And as Carlos is pointing out, when you look at the charts, you can often see that because it means that the action on the North American stock markets can often be stilted or it jumps a lot, which just makes it less desirable as a day trade when you're trying to use levels and technical analysis, because it's being influenced by an entirely different market that causes moves that can be unexpected. So that's why we prefer things that are primarily listed on the North American exchange.
Yeah, and also that is a little it's slightly difficult to find levels because sometimes they're daily. This one doesn't look as bad because obviously it's been following with the overall market with this drop, but their daily will be so bad to find levels, and that's also tough because levels are a key part of the intraday trading. You have to have good levels that everybody else has. If you're the only person with your levels, then they don't mean anything, right? So that's important. All right, let's take a look what else we have, guys. So BA we have in our list, CHK, that's good. ENOB we have already, so ENOB is on there. CAR, let's take a look at that one. CAR for the most part was active a couple of weeks as well. Let's see what's going on here. CAR. Let's get it down on our daily. So CR, again, just a huge run up here. Also pretty nice. For the most part right now, their volume is a little bit lighter. I do like their daily. I think they have some potential to continue this. They have been running up, but it just doesn't seem as extended because they're doing this in a very nice consolidating fashion. They consolidate, move up, come back down, move up. It's not like other stocks where we've seen just, this move in 3 candles, and that's a little bit, that's not healthy to keep that going. But right now they're sitting at a resistance area they had back in March. So let's see what happens there. But for the most part, guys, the volume is just a little bit lighter on this one. I gotta say though, it is worth putting on a secondary list just in case it hits our scanner. So if we can get to it, we'll do some levels on that. All right, we have LK. A lot of you guys mentioning LK. This is one that doesn't matter what it does. I mean, it could be great. It could be the best stock on the list. I would not touch this one with my personal account. There's just no way that I would put money into this for day trading at all. I would not risk getting stuck in what happened a couple of weeks ago, a month and a half ago or so. It's just not worth it. Now, I've seen some people do some really good moves in and out right away, but for me, it's just the risk is just not worth it, right? For there's so many other stocks that we can trade and make money off. Why touch this one?
Exactly, Carlos. If LK stops, it gets halted again, it may never reopen. But who knows? I mean, they could. So remember, guys, the only reason why LK is trading right now is because the Nasdaq threatened to delist them, and they've appealed that decision. And pending the outcome of the appeal, which means they've got to provide, they meaning the company, has to provide all sorts of proof that they are valid and their numbers are real. You know, they're going to retain their listing status. But as we know, the tide against Chinese companies is sort of moving in the U.S. and we'll see what happens. LK is like sort of on the bubble, which, as Carlos says, means if something happens, and it could have nothing to do with the company, right? There could be broader market moves because of the trade tensions between the U.S. and China. You know, LK could just stop trading suddenly, and you could get stuck. So, yeah, trade at your own risk.
Yep, exactly. So I won't have this one on my list, guys. So I know a lot of you guys are pointing it out, and yes, it's active. Volume looks great, up 3.3. But again, it's just not one that I'm willing to have on my list. Here's BYND, guys. So let's look at the daily on BYND. We've been having this kind of range here, 142 to down over to 133 for the most part, just chopping around in here, and again, could be explosive. Right now, pre-market has a couple of candles here starting to get going. Hopefully can get more volume. Right now, only 113. Again, but it just needs a better pre-market action. But I do love the daily on here, guys. We've been consolidating in this range for quite a bit now. So let's see if it's going to give one way or the other. So BYND, I'll add that to the list. Thank you for that. Let's look at a few more EBS on here. This morning, huge drop on EBS. They are down big here, 14%. Pre-market action is looking decent. I'm sorry, no, pre-market action is not looking decent. It's looking horrible. And their daily also, again, look, is it an energy company? I mean, look at the volume. Very low, guys. Not even 1 million shares on a regular basis. And I'm saying energy because the way the name is listed on here. So again, not a fan of this one, guys. Going to skip on it. RRC. Not a great pre-market action, guys. Another one that doesn't have good activity right now, neither. All right, guys, let's head over to community announcements. We'll come back, we'll do some support levels, and then we'll see if we can get some more. And I see a lot of you guys throwing out some other good ones on there. So we'll come back and see what else we can look at here.
Yeah. Just before we get there, one thing I'll mention, one of the things we watch in the room is we do keep an eye on all IPOs. Friday was an amazing day. They just seem to be launching IPOs out there. So I had a number that are on watch. 5 were released on Friday and 2 the day before. So we had 7 that we were keeping on our list. Of them, there's 3 that I might keep an eye on for second day plays. Carlos, you're not going to see anything on the charts because, of course, we actually have like less than a day's worth of data all told, right? So, but for anybody that's interested in IPOs, we do watch those in the room, and we announce them the second they're open. I know a number of our members were able to take advantage and make some good money off of the initial launch of some companies. So we'll come back and mention those maybe at the end. All right, so look at the markets overall. Sorry, we did that earlier. Announcements. Oh my goodness, I've lost myself. All right, guys. As always, we've got a lot of stuff going on in the room this week. Once again, we've got activity happening. So Brian's going to be on this afternoon to talk about his swing trade and overall market perspectives. He's got a couple of trades actually that are going now, and some are going very well. So that'll be good to sort of hear Brian's point of view on the markets, as he always does for us on Monday, and gives us sort of the outlook for the week to come. Tonight, for new members, we've got an onboarding class, or if you just want a refresher, it's worth going live. You can ask questions, you can interact with other members, but it's our onboarding class that happens at 8 o'clock in the classroom as led by Carlos. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we've got our trade review led by Eamon, and that is broadcast live on YouTube. If you want to join for that trade review, Eamon reviews not only his trades, but trades of members, and gives a perspective as to how that trade went, what they could look for, and how they could possibly sort of look to improve into the future. And then Wednesday of this week, we've got our regular series of success webinars for long-term members, and I'll talk about that more in a second, but that'll be at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. So, that being said, this week we have our Trader Mind Fitness presentation being presented by Mark Randall. We're very happy to have Mark as a guest speaker with us. He will be here to talk about what mind fitness means, how it relates to mindfulness, and how you can practice it and improve your trading. Guys, trading is an exercise of sort of mental maturity, and we say all the time risk management, right? As much as it's about the technicals and the technology. So we spend a lot of time paying attention to this because it's one of the things that a lot of places don't talk about, but it's the thing that can most directly improve your trading. And that's why this mind fitness session and all the work we're doing on mindfulness is extremely important. So hopefully you'll join us for all our lifetime members Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock, in the webinar room to talk with Mark about mind fitness. And then next week on Wednesday, our success webinar is with some handsome lad by the name of Peter, who's going to be talking about my double top, double bottom strategy. So this is my favorite trade pattern. I like to trade double tops and double bottoms. Essentially, it's a trend reversal pattern, but I'm going to go into detail exactly how do you look for it, what do you need to see to set up, how does it operate, and how do you take advantage of that. So hopefully you'll join me next week, next Wednesday, for that success webinar. Thanks, Martin. All right. Then I just talked about psychology and the importance of managing yourself and managing your mind. And we not only have our success webinars that we talked about on Wednesday, but on Tuesdays we like to do our sort of mindfulness activities and our psychology series. So this Tuesday on June the 9th, we'll have Sanjay, who's joining us from the Art of Living Foundation, to lead us through a meditation session. It's a good opportunity because often you hear about it, you get descriptions, but you don't actually have somebody help lead you through one. So this will be a good opportunity to experience one, see how it operates, and I think you'll be surprised by the outcomes and what it can do for you. So join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock for that session. And then next week, Dr. Jonathan Katz is always available to us, and I appreciate him coming back and talking about specific podcast that he's going to be doing, the Shrink Wrap podcast. I love it. So he'll be answering questions and directly interacting with you. I know we always get a ton of questions from members that say, here's what I'm dealing with. What can you recommend? It's always great sessions. In fact, Dr. Katz will be with us this morning for our Mindful Monday. So he'll give us a little talk in just a moment, but he'll also be here next Tuesday. And if you want to join us, if all that sounds exciting and you'd like to sort of be part of the action and be able to get access to not only that, but our trade room all day, as well as all of our training and resources, I guess, all our training resources, join us here in the chat room. You can use a code PREMARKET24 to join us for a week for only $24 to give it a try. See if it's for you. If it is for you, then we'll invite you to join as a full-time or lifetime member. So hopefully you will find value and you will want to join us full-time. So that's the news for this Monday. Oh, sorry, I got one more. Oh my goodness, how could I forget our podcasts? We've been having a lot of fun with these guys, and we had some great interviews, and we've got more coming. Our podcast series is really taking off. I appreciate everybody who's going there. It's getting tons of views, and I really like that. So just search on your favorite podcast provider, Talk with Traders, and you should be able to find us. And those podcasts are going fantastic. So I said they're a lot of fun too, and you get sort of varied. It's a conversation, and it allows you to sort of see a different side of trading and really understand how did somebody start on their journey. Our Talk with Traders series is all about understanding. Hey, here's just another trader, just like the rest of us. How did they start their journey? How did he or she sort of get started and is continuing as they're going down the path? So join us for the podcast series. All right, guys, as I mentioned, Dr. Jonathan Katz will be joining us as we have Mindful Mondays. It gives us an opportunity to sort of reflect a little bit before the week starts. Dr. Katz, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Oh, I can't, I see your lips moving. I don't hear any sound yet. I don't think it's at your end. Let us just check on this side.
Yeah, Dr. Cass, turn on the mic on the chat room.
Oh. Oh, that's right. I don't see you on the microphone in the chat room. He'll be getting that working in just a second. Yeah, Mark, we're aware there's no sound. We'll get that fixed a little bit. Just in the chat room, like you do in the afternoon, Dr. Katz, to hit that mic and the microphone right in the browser. Lip reading class, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's your part of your mindful training. We're going to have your lip read.
Okay.
That's looking better.
Can
there
you see me?
Are. Now, yeah, we can see you and hear you. Welcome.
Okay. Very
so
good.
Let me ask again. I hope you had a great weekend and welcome.
Thank you very much. So today on Mindful Monday, and you know what? I am getting a better feedback if I pull out this. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you. Well, now I can't hear you. There, now we can hear you again.
You can hear me again.
I can hear you now, yeah. That's nothing.
Okay, so we'll have to correct this because I'm getting major feedback on my headphones. So maybe I will just talk like this. So today on Mindful Monday, kind of each week, what I'm going to try to do is to come up with a particular topic. And then today's topic will be emotional volatility and how it can impact your trading. Talk a little bit very briefly about what emotional volatility is, some of the causes and triggers of emotional volatility, some of the symptoms of emotional volatility, and then give you some kind of corrective steps and some exercises that could help with emotional volatility. Basically, emotional volatility is really, just think market volatility. Emotional volatility is a significant fluctuation in your mood, often from high to low, kind of the roller coaster ride that can be emotions. Emotional volatility is problematic because it can be rather exhausting, debilitating, confusing, and upsetting. Some of the causes or triggers of emotional volatility are current life stressors. I mean, we're all living through the pandemic, the recent murder of George Floyd, family relationship conflicts, financial stressors, and of course, for everybody, poor trading performance or sometimes excellent trading performance. The ups and downs of that can cause a great deal of emotional volatility. So what are some of the symptoms of emotional volatility? Basically, as I mentioned, we see ourselves with extreme emotional swings, sometimes going from a feeling of emptiness to feelings of really being high. Sometimes it's explosive anger or shifting of your whole self-image and self-confidence from low to high. Basically, having a significant reaction to minor events. I often think of this as when you sense that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. That's an indication that there's some kind of more extreme emotional volatility going on. If you have a little bit of a loss in a trade and then you get super upset, or even a win or so and you're getting fairly high, those shifts don't kind of match kind of what would be a healthy, constructive emotional shift. So the trouble is calming yourself down. It's hard to self-soothe when you have these great emotional swings. And this, from a trading perspective, can often lead to impulsive trading, over trading, inconsistent trading. So when the emotions are kind of fluctuating very high, this is where the emotional volatility is high. It often kind of has a negative impact on our trading. So then what can we do? What are some corrective steps and exercises? Well, one of the first things is to become really aware or mindful that these emotional shifts are happening. So self-awareness is a huge first step. Early intervention is a huge first step. So if we can notice these swings early on in the process, we can try to nip it in the bud. But one of the things to do, first of all, starting off of the trading day, is to really kind of do some mental rehearsal, kind of picturing ourselves in various trades that have gone our way or gone against us, and kind of seeing ourselves handle it in a more emotionally calm, relaxed state. Sometimes we need to work on some relaxation exercises, spending some time off of the trading day, kind of laying down, closing your eyes, maybe kind of focusing on each part of your body, tightening them up and relaxing them, maybe spending 15 or 20 minutes on that, doing some deep breathing or some meditation. If you practice relaxation exercises, then during the trading day, when you sense the emotional volatility building, you can maybe kind of step off the floor, step off away from your computer, take some deep breaths. And sometimes if you practice long enough, within 30 seconds or a minute, you can do your own short-term kind of relaxation response to calm yourself down, think of some corrective measures, get yourself back to reset, to even keel, and then get back on to trading, to reset. So early intervention is the key, working on some corrective steps, exercises off of the trading day, and then bringing them onto the trading floor.
Oh, excellent, Dr. Katz. That's a good idea. And you're right. I know that reset is an important thing to do. And then once you can practice it a few times, unfortunately, I've had to practice it more than I've wanted to during my trading. But but it really does allow you to sort of, you do get better at it. It's like any other skill, right? Once you do it a few times, you can sort of get more proficient at doing it at a quicker pace to calm yourself down and be able to refocus at the job at hand.
Absolutely. Practicing is a key. And then also not getting upset with yourself that you're having these emotions. Try to view them in a constructive manner, learning from them, and taking the steps to get them better.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, Dr. Katz. Some good food for thought for the week. And thanks, as always, for joining us here this morning.
Okay, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that, Dr. Katz. Always great to start the week and the morning with something like that. So thank you. All right, guys. So let's take a look what's happening. SPY real quick is up a little bit, 0.5% at the moment. So we're getting a lot of activity there. Let's look at what we have on our list and fine tune it a little bit. We got a lot here today. PENN is on there. We'll keep that one for now. I do like the way it's setting up for the most part. Gilead is one that is very active right now. 907,000, moving sideways a bit here the last couple of minutes. But this is one that's a little bit more difficult to trade. So it might not make my final list. Again, it could be a little bit difficult. What I do like is their daily on this now. The way we're breaking out of the 78 area, which has been an important price target for this stock. This could be a good one to watch today. MIK's pre-market action is all right. I mean, it's up 30%, but it's just not sure how this is actually going to trade at the open. CCL, just amazing drop here, guys. Over the last couple of minutes after 840, we have seen it lose the VWAP here. Yeah, this is looking very nice. I want to keep an eye on that one for sure. Did any news break out?
What did you do to Guild there, Carlos? You just started talking about it, and look what just happened.
Oh, maybe because I said I'm gonna trade it. Sorry, guys, I apologize, but yeah. So
you were gonna trade it. It drops a buck.
We might need to look at it now. So it might be very active. So yeah, we'll keep that one for now. Cruise lines also dropping very nice here. NCLH. Let me fix this here. Here we go. So NCLH, all right. So this one also very active, not dropping as much as CCL though. Look at CCL right now. Look at the activity there. So I'm gonna keep CCL. Gonna remove NCLH. I think CCL might be the one that gives us that extra edge when it comes to movement today. American Airlines is looking good. As far as airlines, I have United also. And they're both pretty similar on their pre-market action. United has almost 3 times the volume right now. So I'll keep, I'm sorry, American Airlines has 3 times the volume. I'll keep these two for now. Oxy, I think is a good one today. We're seeing a very clean pre-market activity. I'm going to remove Delta and I'll remove between them. I don't want to watch 3 airlines. I think I'm going to remove, let's do United today. I think American has a very good, interesting pre-market action. So we'll keep United. I'm sorry, we'll keep American Airlines. We'll keep Oxy. Tesla, for the most part, breaking out here. The issue with Tesla now, it's just getting too expensive. It's $911 dollars right now. So again, it's just very expensive. It is breaking out of this area though, so I'm going to keep it as a possible. Again, I don't think I ever traded stock above 1,000 really. So we'll see. I'm going to remove it for now, but it's very active. Their daily looks very great. I'm going to put it down as a possible. If there's something that looks very, very good on it, you can still take, whatever number of shares and still get a good movement out of it, just by a couple of bucks there. BA, guys, is very exciting as well. This one has been really one to watch. Look at the last couple of days, beautiful breakout. I'll keep that one. WFC, I'm gonna remove for right now. Good possible, guys. It is a banking stock, and they have been trading really well over the last couple of days, but I like what I'm seeing elsewhere from instead of this one. CHK, instead of CHK, I'm going to watch Oxy. They're both in the same sector, guys, when it comes to this oil energy company. So I'm going to watch Oxy. I think this one is really the one that's giving us a very clean pre-market action right now. Let's look at BYND. So BYND, I think BYND could be a possible breakout today. Their pre-market is starting to get going. If you look at the volume after 8:45 here, we're starting to get some decent candles here, some much wider candle than we were getting early on from 7 to 8:45, and also possible breakout if we can get above this area of resistance we have seen here. So I like those. And then it's possible we do have SSL on here. It continues to just rip higher, up 17% now. We have ENOT here, which ENOB, which has been extremely active on some news of a possible HIV cure. And then we have CAR, which is not looking all that great right now. I'm just going to even remove it from a possibles list. All right, let's get to some levels here, guys. Let's start with PENN. So for the most part, we got pretty much levels covered between our price action right now. Highs and lows are really got you covered. Previous day close as well. I'm going to add just a pre-market low sitting at 34.52. I think that's going to be good enough for now. And then as far as levels, I think you pretty got some good information in here already. If we were to lose this 32.50, well, you can mark down right on here, guys. You do have 30.77. That could be a good area to mark down as well. Here's Gilead, guys. So we had this huge drop after talking about it. High of their pre-market sitting at 80.80. So we'll mark that down. And then below that, we do have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, right where the pre-market low is for the moment. Now, the price action, this daily chart, guys, if you just take a look at this, look how wild this daily chart looks here. It's really all over the place. The price action, though, if you look at the line, this red line, this is our price right now currently. It is sitting right at a level that I want to mark down, because you can see several days opening, closing, rejecting from that, changing direction. There's a lot of action happening around this 79.35. So I'm going to mark that there. I think that's a good point to have. Our pre-market high at 80.72. If we get above that, this daily here is so choppy and so difficult to read that you really don't have anything significant as far as a major level. Obviously, this one here is a major level, guys. 85.76. You can see how many times that has been tested there, 1, 2, 3, with some major rejections. But then aside from that, in here, I'm not seeing anything that you can actually mark down. So we'll leave it blank for now. MIK, this one, again, pre-market action going sideways a bit here. Our high of our pre-market sitting at 7.37. Towards the bottom, our low and highs from the last 2 trading days got you pretty much covered. And the pre-market action, again, I just hope it can get going a little more right now. This pop is nice. We're up 30%. The stock has been doing very, very well over the last couple of days. If we go back here to the left and we look at December time frame, we do have some levels above the pre-market high. This one here, 835 is a good one. You can see acting as support, breaking down here. Small support here, then becomes, after it loses it, it becomes resistance, right? Cannot get above that in this 4-day period, and then drops down again. Huge pop, again, tested one more time. So when you have a level like that that's tested over and over again, it is definitely worth putting on the list. So towards the bottom, you're pretty much covered. You do have some moving averages as well, around $6. Let's just see if this pre-market action can get a little better. CCL, very active, guys, right now. Pre-market high sitting at 25. 98, basically 26 almost. Towards the bottom, your low of your pre-market, pretty much the high from Friday, just really right on there. Then from there, you got the previous day close, and then some pre-market highs and lows from last week as well, Thursday. Above our pre-market high, which is sitting at 25, guys, we've been really tearing it up. Airlines got the same daily chart as well. Beautiful pop here. We are sitting right over here at 30.06, a good level of support. We had the initial drop here, right? We found some support there. We bounced back, consolidated, and then we had, once we lost that 30.06, look at that drop heading down to 25.97. So pretty good action here on CCL. I love the way that looks right now. American Airlines, I think the airlines are going to be very active. I only have American Airlines today, but we'll see what the moderators are watching in a second. And I hope they're watching some airlines so they can call some stuff out for us if something happens there. High of the pre-market sitting at 2068, the low of the pre-market at 1902, and then outside of that range, you have your highs from Friday. We are sitting around 23, also with this moving average coming in as well. And is that the 200? Yeah, that's the 200 on American Airlines, catching up to the price action after this huge drop we had a couple of months ago. And then towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. If we lose this area here around 18, the next one that I can see here starts getting pretty choppy, right? So not a great area. I'm trying to find something clean. It'll probably be 1598, guys. You got several days opening, closing around that area, around 1598. Let's look at Oxy, guys. I think this one, out of all the oil and energy companies, this is the one that trades, for me, the cleanest. You do have CHK, which is also active, so if you prefer that one, you can put that on your list as well. High of the pre-market, 25.22, the low sitting at 22.80, and then towards the bottom, previous day close, highs from last week are got you covered down here. Again, I had a big day on Friday. Let's look how I traded Friday, actually. It's funny, so it had a big day on Friday. A lot of the action this morning was, a lot of the pop this morning was after hours on Friday as well. So Friday was a big day for this company. Starting with the pre-market. Pre-market was very active, guys. Went into the open, traded very, very well. Look at this beautiful uptrend. And then into the close, right before the close. Look at this right here, right before it closed for the day. You can see this beautiful pop heading up a couple of points there as well. So I think this was very active, guys. If we can get back to the top here above this 25.22, we do have the bottom of this gap down here, the top of this gap down, 26.42, and then above that we do have another level here at 29.79. It's far out. I'm not sure if we're going to get there today, but the way this thing has been moving, it will not shock us. All right, here's BA, guys. So BA is one that has been really good to us. Great pre-market activity, sitting at 225.95 pre-market high. Towards the bottom, I'm just going to mark down the pre-market low, and then you can see how your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you pretty much covered. If we get above 226, excuse me, we have 238.26, a good area as well. You have some possible resistance happening there also. All right, and last one on our list, BYND. Again, BYND, I think it's a great possible, guys. It's been consolidating over the last couple of weeks, months, just in this area right on here, right between, you got a small consolidation and a big consolidation. The big one is over at 142 all the way down to, look at this great support right where your previous day close is at, which is a 132, right? It's been holding that pretty well. We dip low for a couple of days, 3 days, and found a way to get right back on it. So it's 132 and then 145 is the big one. But then right now, you do have 138 right on here. Several days have not been able to get above that as well, especially in the last 5-7 days. So I think it's a good one to watch, guys. I'm going to mark down this high over here. If we're able to break out 147, it's important. And then towards the bottom, you clearly have a support down here at 121 and right over here at 127.86. So we'll see. I think I'm going to move this down as a possible because it's not doing anything right now. But if it does hit our turbo breakup scanners, this could be one to take a look at and see what the action is happening there. All right, guys, let's take a look at what our moderators are watching today. We'll start with Peter. Peter, what are you watching today? What do you like?
Well, as I posted, I think a primary on my list are going to be Oxy, NCLH, representative of the cruise lines, and from the airlines, AAL. They just seem to be the ones with the biggest action at the moment. I will be watching some of the other airlines and cruise lines, as well as keeping an eye on Gilead and AZN to see if they have any movement today. And then Boeing is, like it's a higher price stock, but it's been moving so well. I'd like to see what it's going to do today. And last but not least, I'll just keep an eyeball on a couple of the IPOs that came out last week, ZI, Zoom Info, and FOUR, F-O-U-R. I don't, like right now, they look terrible. There's absolutely no action. but something may happen, being that it's sort of their second and third days respectively to be open.
Yep. All right, excellent. All right, let's start with Eamon. He's watching SSL, BAZYNE, and also DVN. Brian is watching Work, CCL, Oxy, American Airlines, and SSL. Thor is watching CCL. He has Oxy, NCLH, and also Oxy making some really good. He took long Oxy at 24. I'm sorry, long CCL at 24.10 this pre-market, so that's nice. And then Andrew's watching Oxy, CCL, American Airlines, and United Airlines. So very nice small list for Andrew today. And Jared is watching Oxy really and NAT for possible there. All right, guys, we are 3 minutes away from the open, running a little bit behind here for our pre-market show. But thank you so much for sticking around and joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Brian and Andrew will join us in a bit here and take over. So take care, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Time.
Thanks, everybody. Have a safe day.
Hey guys, good morning.